I stared down the length of the bridge. Cars and other vehicles sped across, with me watching from the railing. To my left was the way leading to a small town in the dark distance. To my right was the illuminated city, towering over the area. I looked up to see the stars, bright as they normally are. How did I get here? I couldn't remember. It was cold. I shivered and hugged my jacket closer to myself. I didn't know the lavender garment was there before. I searched all of my available pockets for my cell phone, but I couldn't find it. With nothing else to do, I started on my way for the city to find out where I was. The bridge was a mile long, and several minutes passed by with me pushing against the frosty wind. A wicked fog descended from seemingly nowhere. It was profusely dense, even with the lights of the bridge on full blast. As I tried taking another step, I tripped. I landed on my hands, scraping them only a little. I turned to see what it was I tripped over. A chunk of the concrete I was walking over had cracked and risen up in front of my foot. The concrete cracked even more and raced each and every direction across the bridge. All the cars that were passing by braked sharply as numerous chunks of concrete and asphalt jutted out of the ground, blocking the path. Then I saw the explosion. The cause of it was beyond my sight because of the fog, but I watched the glow of dancing flames from where I was. The deathly screaming was instant. Fiery boulders erupted from the flaming epicenter. Several meteorites were coming in my direction. I got to my feet with a crawl and made a sprint toward the city. While running, I made the mistake of looking back. The flaming boulders crushed cars with people still inside. Those who were outside of their vehicles tried to outrun the fireballs, if only to get swallowed up by the crumbling ground. I picked up my speed to reach the exit. A second explosion erupted and a semi flew over my head. The massive tanker truck landed in the way, giving me a clear view of what was in the tanker. Gasoline! The flames surrounding me were quick to find the tanker, and then came the agonizing inferno. My burnt body flew backwards, skipping across the scraping road. I skidded to a hold of my broken back. Pain rippled throughout my being. I turned my head as best as I could, just in time to see a blurry, dark, silver-tipped claw rise out. Before I could see anything more, a chunk of flaming rock came down on me. Then I woke up with a start. My heart was beating to a drum beat my mind couldn't follow. My sweat-glazed face turned left and right. I was back in my room. Or maybe I never left. I didn't know anymore. With an audible click, the lights went on, blinding me.
Are you all right, Chase?
From the doorway, the concerned expression on my mother's face was palpable. She walked over and sat by me on my bed.
Did you have another nightmare?
I nodded shakily. She just sighed and wiped the sweat off my brow, moving my matted chocolate threads to the side.
Are you sure you don't want to see the doctor? You've been having these nightmares for a month now. It's almost like you've been having them daily.
Yes, Mom, I'm sure. They're just nightmares. I'm sure I'll get over them eventually. My mother's sapphire orb scanned me intently.
All right.
She began tiredly.
I'll let this go for now.
She stood up to exit my room and stopped at the opening.
However, if this continues, I'm taking you to the doctor.
Okay, I agreed. She turned off the lights and left. Good thing, too. Once she was out of sight, I hugged my body closer to me than I had in my dream. I had a huge urge to do this while my mother was interrogating me. Spectral pain coursed through me. It had been like this all month. Contrary to what my mother believes, I haven't been having these nightmares for almost every day of the past month. I have had these nightmares every day for the past month. Every day for this month of January, all I have had are nightmares. Every night is the same as well. In my nightmare, I'd find myself in a different place. It was never the same. Then, roughly the same event would occur. A strange disaster would strike, and I would die. The nightmares are more than vivid. They are tangible. After I wake up from these nightmares is when the pain starts shooting. All of the pain I feel in those horrific dreams, I also feel when I wake up. Sometimes the pain is so agonizing that I can't form sounds, let alone words. That is the only reason why my mother had yet to figure out the real frequency of these dreams. Like I said, for nearly the past month, it has been nearly the same scenario every night, but with one new difference. Hesitantly, I took a quick glance at my black digital clock. I stared at it, hoping it wouldn't do anything abnormal. Luck is hardly ever on my side. It happened again. The time on the clock, which was 4 in the morning, changed before my eyes to not a time, but a countdown. Less than 72 hours left. After a minute, it changed back to normal just as suddenly. This countdown started appearing just 4 days before. A 7-day countdown. A countdown to what exactly? I wasn't sure of, and I didn't want to know for that matter. Showing it to anyone else is futile. The clock only changed when I'm alone, and I'm the only one looking at it. I lie down in my bed to go to sleep again. Thankfully, I don't ever dream after the nightmare in the same night. After waking up, I did my normal routine of getting ready for school. While going through my routine, I had begun to notice that my wardrobe was thinning out. One particular garment had been missing for a month. "Mom, where's my jacket?" I usually kept it safe in the closet, but the air outside has grown too cold to bear.
What jacket?
She called out from the living room. "My purple jacket."
What do you mean? I've never seen you wear a purple jacket before.
My eyes lit up like headlights. My lavender jacket, the jacket with golden flames on the sleeves, was missing. I got that jacket from my dad as a gift a few years ago. It was my favorite. My dad did a lot of traveling because of his job, so I only got to see him about once a month. That is if I was lucky. Ever since he gave it to me, that jacket and I have been almost inseparable. If I wasn't wearing it, I had it in safe storage. For my mother to think and believe it never existed was enough to spark my alarm. In my shock, I just tried to act like everything was normal and left the house for school. Everything was not normal. Or was I just going crazy? I didn't know anymore. At school, I tried to act like I was normal and not a crazy, hallucinating maniac. My English class was working on essays, and I was writing on myths and legends. As every good student knows, the biggest aspect of writing essays was the research. Where else to go to do research than the school library? I searched through the stacks for anything that could be used for my paper. There was a shelf on the ground, and some of the books were hidden in the back. I got down on my knees and pushed my head in to get a better look. Shoving some books on Egyptian and Greek myths out of the way, I pulled a few titles out one by one. Sometimes a good cover can catch the eye. After rummaging around, the cover of one title gripped my soul. It was a simple cover, but haunting to me all the same. Wait a minute. Someone coughed. I jumped like a shrieking cat and bumped my head on the shelf ceiling. I just rubbed my head while she guffawed behind me. "Did you have to go and do that?" I asked through gritted teeth.
No, but where would the fun be if I didn't?
My narrow eyes landed on Violet Cadenza. "Really, Vi, you need to stop sneaking up behind me." In the next second, she had her face almost right up against mine. She stared at me for a few uneasy seconds, her frazzled raven hair framing my face. "What are you doing?"
Sneaking up in front of you.
She whispered with a creepy smile. She slowly pulled out of my personal space and saw the book in my hand.
Find something interesting?
My eyes darted to the book and back to her. "Yeah, it's for my essay."
Don't care.
She raised her nose to me in a mock snobbish impression. She lowered her face and had that creepy smile on her face again.
What I do care about is where we are meeting for the concert.
That caught me off guard. Considering all that had been happening to me lately, I had completely forgotten about the concert. My mother and Violet's mother were dragging us to go to a big concert that was going to be held in the middle of the city in a few days. It was going to be one of the biggest Christian concerts to be held in the state. My mother and Violet's mother were childhood friends, and they had been trying to push the two of us together. I didn't think Violet would go along with the scheme, but she apparently didn't mind so much. I did think she was cute in a mousy sort of way, and I had to admit she possessed a nice figure. She was a little weird, but I guess I did like her, although I had no idea what she saw in me. When anything that remotely resembled a conflict occurs, I usually shied away. Sometimes I felt like a useless tool, like in my dreams when all I can ever do is die. Oh yeah, right. Mom told me we were going to watch the concert from Babel Tower. Violet looked like she was mulling over what I said.
Isn't that the platform in the square's entrance?
I nodded and she smiled approvingly.
I like it. Can't wait to see you there.
There was that creepy smile again, and she was showing all of her teeth this time.
I'll leave you to your work then. Later, Chase.
And she walked away acting like everything she did was normal. She probably just liked frightening me. What captured my attention before a certain giggling raven interrupted me was one image on the cover. A black silver-tipped claw like the one from my dream. I was quick to check it out of the library, along with the rest of the material from my paper. From that moment until it was time for school's release, I was beyond anxious to get home and read that book. The bus ride was tedious, and the longer the ride lasted, the more unwilling I became in pursuing this endeavor further. I got home after what felt like an eternity. My mother let me in, and I slipped away to my room, giving my mother a quick "I'm back" response before she could ask anything else. Throwing my backpack on the bed, I unzipped it to snatch the only object occupying my mind. Taking a deep breath in reverence, I slowly scanned each page of the book. It detailed different kinds of legendary entities, but not the one I was in search of. Finally, I found an image similar to that of the cover. Below the image was nothing. Every page in the book either had an image with details underneath, or just strictly the details. The page I found had the image and no details. Not a single word. I quickly skimmed through the rest of the book, but I still found nothing. Disappointment and exhaustion fell upon me, and I lied down in bed to wallow in both. I found myself in the nighttime once again. I was somewhere familiar for once. It was an overpass that my mother and I crossed all the time to go shopping together. There were other overpasses, but this was the fastest way for getting to our favorite shops. Again, I was standing off to the side while vehicles raced by. A disaster was coming, so it was already time to stop lollygagging and get to low ground. Right on time, the fog and the cold began to set in. The focus of my nightmares was close by. Running down the asphalt slope of the overpass, I thought nothing of the people in my dream. The screams began, but that wasn't on my mind. My own safety was. I didn't want to experience that pain again, and this time I wasn't going to look back. Those were my thoughts until something caught my leg. "Please, help me!" A choked scream gasped. I looked back to see the man who had grabbed a hold of my ankle. The sight made me want to vomit. The mangled and bloody bodies of the man and the other people trying to crawl away were enough cause for nausea to set in. The man put a death grip on me when I tried shaking him away. A plume of fire erupted from the center of this latest nightmare, same as the last. This time, though, I paid enough attention for once to find the flames had turned an icy blue just as the same claw appeared. Through the fog, little else could be seen. Then the claw came down upon the man holding on to me. With a final gasp, the dying man let go of me and was dragged back to the claw's origin. "Sorry," I whispered. I got up to try to run for it. I made it 2 feet before the claw had grasped me and tried sinking through my lavender jacket. Fear rushed through me as I thought about what would happen if I came face to face with my nightmare. I didn't have to wonder for long. The claw's grip shook and retched as if it was burned from the contact. It dropped me down into the river below. Water imprisoned me until I managed to work myself up to the surface just in time to watch as a slab of concrete fall on my head.